All right, Kyler, let's take a look at your essay. I want to start by saying that what I did is I put this into double space format just so it's a little bit easier for me to go through. And let me tell you, for a 5 paragraph essay, this is pretty long. And it's not really necessarily a bad thing. I'll talk about some few things as I go through this with you about where I think you can shorten a little bit, or what I really think the problem is when I told you about a 5 paragraph essay, that's just the minimum, and I can clearly see if you just split some things up into different paragraphs, you would go beyond the 5 paragraph structure, and I think it would work better for you. But let's talk about this. So, I love your quote to start, and that is a great way. And we talk about sometimes there's this perspective that you shouldn't include quotes unless it's directly related to the topic at hand. But I could, well, mass hysteria, especially with World War II, has it. But there were some people. What I'm getting at is I know one person, I shouldn't say that, one or two people that would be like, well, this isn't directly related to the text or whatever, so maybe not use it. But let me tell you, this is a great quote to use for this kind of paper because man is evil by nature, man is a beast. People have to be educated from childhood, from kindergarten, that there should be no hatred. And then your explanation of it later is just so good that really sets it up that no matter what happens with media, man is evil. And this is part of our human nature. It doesn't matter if media is here, we're going to do it. So, looking at that, even to with what you have here, it's human nature that prompts mass hysteria and causes it to grow, spread, and become potent with or without the assistance of media. I think your introduction is really good. The only thing I would consider throwing out, this is one thing I would consider throwing out, is maybe get rid of this. A lot of you are throwing the Crucible into the introduction, which is fine, but I also see the Crucible being used as a paragraph of itself because the thing with the introduction is you want to have a hook that introduces the topic and build information on what the topic is, and then have your thesis that states what your paper is going to be about. So you don't necessarily need Crucible in here, but I will let it slide for now. Other than that, the way that you talk about this is really, really good. And there's no, I'm going to pull up one of my add-ons real quick. Language tool. There's no grammar issues that I'm noticing right away, so the writing style is good. I think you have a way of, yeah, mostly just names. Oh, you do have a comma concern there because of a white space. That's not as big of a deal. It looks like you do this a little bit later. Yeah, so it looks like the only thing that my add-on is catching is just you're using, in a few spots you have a comma with this extra space, but grammar-wise, nothing I'm noticing. Let's get rid of that. Oh, what just happened? Nope, I wanted that. There we go. So anyways, overall, Kyler, your intro is really good. I think you set up what mass hysteria is. I would have you consider getting rid of the Crucible stuff. I don't think you need it, and maybe you can make that into your own paragraph Halloween. But anyways, as we transition into your first body paragraph, this is really good, but it's really long. It literally is over a page long. What I would say is when you have your textile workers, and then you talk about the kids here, split those up into two separate paragraphs because what you do a really good job at is, even though at towards the end where you sum up, this is what's going on in both examples. Where is it? In both instances, the June bug and the fainting student stress, anxiety, and fear came into play. And seen in the case of the fainting students, the intentions of others caused others to follow. This physical and psychological symptoms were prompted due to the fear of an illness or outbreak of something bad caused by human nature and its automatic negative response to any type of stress, anxiety, and fear and the bad intentions of others. Not even a run on. I think it's okay for now. It's human nature that causes what is merely caused by stress, blah, blah, blah. This might be a little bit repetitive. Maybe you could just say, human nature makes it seem vastly more problematic and terrifying than it is, which leads to mass hysteria. I don't know if that picked up on the mic, but I'm right next to the custodian lounge as I'm going over this, so it's after school, and I hope you can't hear them, because then it'll just be awkward video. But overall, I think if you split up the examples, the writing is good. You have some good analysis in here, so I can't even complain about it. And even this, like right here, no health reason could be found. They're beginning to worry. Maybe they have this illness, and even though you're using examples of what they're talking about, it's still good analysis for it. So that is good with what you have so far. All right, and as we move on to your next body paragraph, I just want to scroll up for a second. All right, there we go. So you talk about the crucible, which is good, and again, you have a long body paragraph. I think you can split it up to having one or two examples per paragraph and then doing the evidence with it. But overall, there is one grammar thing I saw. Well, there's two. Technically, you wouldn't do this with an author if we do APA or MLA format, but you haven't learned it, so I'm not going to worry about it. There's no reason for me to ding you points on there. Right here we go. After accusations were made, many more followed out of greed, like with Thomas Putnam, and dislike/hatred. This is one of those tricky things where I think you had it earlier, which works okay, but when you have this slash, you want to get rid of it and actually put words in it. But even looking at your writing language, the fear that erupted and caused hysteria was a result of other people and their intentions. Maybe to you, erupted doesn't seem like a big word, but you just have your own style to this that makes it really good, and I'm enjoying reading this, so thank you for that. And then even your ending sentence. People's intentions are the immediate causes of mass hysteria, and from them, others become anxious, fearful, and stressed, which makes it spread and increase with or without media. And that's a good repetition that you have in here. So that is really good to have, because even though you talked about this in the intro, it's good to have that same verbiage and use that kind of writing style, so this is good. Alright, so same sort of thing I said before, real good use of evidence, and what I think is really good is you really took the time where even though you have the evidence from the opposition, you did it in such a precise and nice way to then go, well, it still comes from someone's mind, and then you look, I am so glad you used this because I have not seen this yet, about how this was his idea from it, and this is all part of someone's mind, and it's whatever, media can have an effect, but it always derives from a person. You don't need that slash, and you do have the slashes again, that's the only grammar thing, from which it spreads, becomes widely known with or without the influence of media. So again, I think you do a really good job at looking at, this is where people look at the opposition for this paragraph in particular, and you talk about, yes, this took off and this became popular and people heard this and it created this hysteria, but at the end of the day, this was someone's intention, right? It's human nature. We had the intention to do it, so that is really good. All right, so when we look in your conclusion, human nature prompts mass hysteria and causes it to grow, spread, and become more potent with or without the assisted media. Good repetition throughout here, that's fine. Recap it and then talk about it. And then I really like, this is what's really hard to do sometimes with your hook, is you bring it back into your conclusion and talk about this quote, the words ring true, man is evil, without a renewed heart in mind, and because of this, hysteria is prompted by typically bad intentions and idea. So overall, this is really good. I think you do a really nice job at, sometimes it's could be in the hypothetical realm in the sense of, where was it that I saw it? Sometimes people will look at, it's derived, when you talk about how it's derived from these people, I've seen enough essays between all the classes and different types of essays that are like, well, maybe it's this, but you do a really nice job at using analysis that's in the article, so overall this is just really good. The only thing I would critique you on for the conclusion is you want to leave us with something that gets us thinking about it. And I would say just get rid of the sentence I highlighted and leave it with, it is only with that kind of grace and love that people can become good. Because you're talking about hysteria as this bad thing, and you don't need to repeat your thesis again at the end if you have this earlier. But overall, Kyler, you have a very good essay that uses really good analysis and really good evidence. I think you can tweak the format a little bit, so I don't want to ding you on that in case you were just looking at it as like, well, we need 5 paragraphs, I'm going to do 5 paragraphs, but always go above and beyond if you can, because this is pretty good. All right, so thank you.